Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. Let's go. This one will be out on YouTube because this will be the weekly also. I haven't done the weekly webinar, so this will be for the weekly webinar as well, right? So let's start. I hope you guys can share it when you watch it. If you like it, share it and pass it on to somebody. You might help them. This is for everybody who's watching it. So if 2,000 of you watch it or 1,500, please share it to another 1,500 people. And at least they get the chance to see something if they like it, right? So dollar index, let's go. Let me start with daily. I'll go through some on the daily as well because we're in a very important position right now. So if you remember the dollar index, as if you look back at all my webinars, what I was telling you to start is that we couldn't confirm whether this was a correction or whether that is starting the up move, because in the daily, we know that there's an up move coming very soon in the daily, one you don't want to miss, which is this one. If you haven't been making money, if you're a trader and you're watching this and you haven't been making money, you are struggling as a trader, you're still not making money, you don't understand what structure is doing, you don't understand how to enter, how to exit, all of that. Your chance is you don't want to miss this. This is where you're going to double your account. And that's a guarantee almost. And your chances you don't want to miss that because we are making money inside of this. As it stands right now, we're making money inside of that. You can see all those lines, those are sells that we'll be having. Or buys on the other charts, if it's Euro, Aussie, New Zealand, whatever. Sells and buys. So we're making money trading this. We're still going to make money trading this downwards to this level, maybe a little lower than that. And when that starts, that would be the big one. Why that one is more important? Because when you get into that trade going up, you can stay with that for quite a time. Once it proves it's going up totally now, you can stay with that trade and have tens and tens of trade going that are valid and making money and continuously making money. You don't have to close them all. So the question is, are we going down now or are we still in the correction? Well, by rule, we're still in the correction. We haven't broke out of the trend as yet, right? By the looks of it, the way this is looking, the sharpness of that, it tells me like we might end up breaking the low and then turn. See? So if you want to learn something, go back and watch these webinars. We're going to go back and look at all the webinars you can find in YouTube who are telling you we're in an uptrend. And you would see the differences why I was telling you, no, we cannot confirm an uptrend. We still can't even confirm we're going down as yet. But I'm telling you by the looks of it, we're likely going to go down because it's looking very sharp. We don't have a lot of corrections in it in terms of the size of the corrections. 4 hours, we broke the low. There is a good chance we might get a correction now because we broke the low. We're getting some divergence, and today we might get a big correction to confirm the downside if that's possible. If we get small corrections, we will sell. We'll continue to sell. So if we get a flag here today, that'll be a sell setup. If we get an impulse and a flag, we will start to buy it because we are buying in a bigger possible consolidation coming in. And it's going to be bigger than this one, and it's going to be bigger than all that we have so far. If we start a correction, it's going to be more like a 4 hour one. And if we start something like that here now, it will confirm the bigger downside, especially if it becomes a correction. If it starts to go back up really sharp, well, good, we're in the buy. We wouldn't be worried about that, right? So a flag we're selling, if we get a change of direction, if there's no change of direction, then we'll start to buy. We don't see that here as yet. Gold. Let me move the oil downwards. We're looking at oil very close. I'll tell you why. We have some nice trades in oil. Let me just move it back to where it belongs, and let's go with gold. Gold. So let me spend a couple minutes on gold here because I think one trader got frustrated with the gold when I was saying this looks like a flat and it's going to go down. So let me start with the daily structure, and let me go to what we're looking at. This is what we look at, and this is where wave analysis. Even if I don't do all the pairs today, forget about that. What I'm going to tell you here now is much more important than what you can learn from all the pairs. Wave analysis is a very, very simple concept. And it's based on something that is a rule in nature. Nothing goes in a straight line. You go in a straight line, you come back, you correct that, and you go again. Now, when you have this as the basic element, a number of things could happen. You could do 1, 2, 3 down again. You could do a correction here and continue to go. You could do a correction and continue to go. And at any point, you could do 1, 2, 3 again. At any point, right? It's not as random as you might think. As a matter of fact, one of our traders posted a video in our group, and I think all of you should watch this. Let me see if I can bring it up for you guys as well, for the general public, yeah, I think I can do that without compromising anything very much in our group. This video, you can go to YouTube. Somebody can copy it. Well, it's not going to post anywhere. Somebody can copy it and post it to YouTube for you guys. You should watch this. This guy is a physicist, and he's talking about patterns and structure in music, in jazz, and in physics, and in the universe, and everything, basically. And he mentioned something that he mentioned, by the way. That wasn't a stress, and the person doing the interview did not stress in it. But something he mentioned that is pretty important. He was talking about improvisation in jazz. And, these very good, super genius players that will come up and improvise at a point in time. And the interviewer was asking, well, when they're improvising, are they really working with some kind of a structure? He said, of course. Years of practice. Years of practice make you so good that you can improvise, because now you don't have to sit down and write it to have a proper structure. That structure forms in your head as you're playing. That's the magic. Years of practice. Remember that. It's just like a side talk. Nobody pay attention to that. But that's the most important part of what he was saying for us. Years of practice makes you so good at this that you're going to recognize the pattern like this. You're going to just look at them and you start to see the patterns. You understand what they're doing. And you can figure out what it's going to do next. Sometimes even without the full pattern playing out itself. So let me come back to what I was doing. Since patterns exist every single way, everywhere, including in music, anywhere that you think that something is not structured, it is structured. There's no randomness in the world. There's always a structure to the randomness. Now, what we're looking at is, well, we have 1 and we have 2. Every time the 2 comes deep, you would hear me say, it's going to make a 3 and then it's going to go down back. That's a 90% probability. Go and look at all the patterns. You have 1, you have 2. You're going to have 3 and then you're going to go. You have 1, you have 2, you're going to have 3 and then you're going to go. Right? You can look at it everywhere on any time frame, but look at these 2. You see this one breaking the top with a sharp move up and then a sharp move down? Well, we are breaking the top here with a sharp move up. What are the chances we still come back here? I'll pause for people to digest that. And what are the chances? There's still a high probability of that happening. Now, it doesn't mean it is going to do that. But if it is not going to do that, it has to do something else that tells me, you know what? This one is not going to repeat this pattern. This one is likely going to change the structure by doing this and then do that. So you will have 1, you will have the 2, and you will have the 3. See? So that is why I said when we do weekly analysis, you don't get the full information, because most of them during the week can change. And we were buying gold and silver during the week, which if you look at my last week webinar, I said we're not sure what it's going to do, but the higher probability is that this is going to come back to the low. We were at the top there, and we actually sold it first. And we closed those trades, and then we started to buy it because we figured out we're going to go up. And we sold it on Friday and make money. So the buys and sells are very much in the smaller time frame, but the bigger structure is not changed. Now, if you ask me what I think this is going to do today, I think this is going to break the top. And it's the same reason. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3. We should make another one up there. But when we break the top, the probability is we could come down. We could. We don't have to, but we could. Because I'm not excluding the possibility of that being a flat still. Not until I see something else that excludes it. These smaller corrections in this impulse going up, or in this move going up, I shouldn't say impulses yet. It's not excluding anything. It's just telling me that this is not finished. But if this is finished, if this does not give me a correction sideways when it's finished, but drop, it will confirm what we're thinking. So if we get sell set up, we take them. If we get buy set up, we take them. And then we wait to see what it's going to do sideways. And that is why you need these updates on a daily basis and intraday basis. If you're trading intraday, you need them intraday. So in a 1 hour, you will see all the buys and sells we took. You can literally see them on the chart. You don't need me to tell you. So if you were here this morning, this would have been a buy because we saw this. But if you're not there, then it's not a buy. Well, let it go. Can we get a buy somewhere here? Or if we get a flag, get a buy to the top there? Yeah, sure. If we get a flag, we'll go for that buy. We don't have a flag as it stands right now. We get a flag, we'll go for a buy. If at any point this turn and start to fall, we have a sell order sitting here. So we don't have a buy setup, but we have a sell setup. It doesn't mean it's going to become a sell. It just means we have a setup that could become a sell, and we must be in that trade if it goes. So if this thing is going to fall from there to go back to the bottom, and we know that that is possible, we should have a sell order here. Regardless of whether that will even trigger, it might never trigger. And that's okay. We don't have a buy setup until we get a flag. This was a buy setup last week, right? There were a few more buy setups here. This was a buy setup. This was a buy setup. We bought those, right? We actually saw this. Remember, I told you, watch this here. We'll see what it does in this piece. This could be a 1, 2, 3, 4 flat, and it would drop. We actually sold that. But then it didn't break. This one went up back. This wasn't a buy. I think the break of the top we bought, and the break of the top of that was a buy. So what are we waiting for? Let's see which one of those two. I can tell you we have a sell order this morning from the Asian session. We have an entry order to sell it there. That entry order might cancel within the next 2-3 hours if we see that this is actually trying to go up and we're getting a flag for a buy. So I hope you understand something about wave analysis. Let's move on. Silver, same thing. We actually sold silver, and we bought silver last week and we sold it. Even within this range, I had a few buy and sell in the lower time frame. And then we sold it from the top there coming down. We closed the trade and it's making a consolidation. So I have a sell order here right now sitting, right? If this drops, I'm in that trade. I'll watch it at this level. There's a reason I'm looking at that level, because that is within the pattern. It doesn't mean on the line. It means somewhere around there. If it starts to turn to go back up, we'll look for a buy setup here. But if it breaks through the structure, it will make a correction. And if it stays corrected under there, we continue to sell it. Can it go one more low within the bigger structure? Of course. They've had bigger corrections. They've had this big correction here, and they drop. Small correction drop. Can we get a big correction drop one more? Of course. And if that happens, when we come to about this level, we'll be looking for the upside, because this would become a flat. You have 1. You have 2, you get 3. Is the 3 ended here? We don't know that. But if it's ended there, we'll be in the buy here. If it doesn't end, we're going to get the sell because we have a sell entry. The buy will come much later when it breaks the structure. So we're not going to get a buy inside here. But once they break out of this structure here and they give us a flag, we'll be in that buy going up. And they always give you flags if you can see them, if you understand the structure. Okay, this one we put on because this has a very interesting setup on it. I'll show you one of my traders trading this, and he's tracking it so you can see that. This is the daily structure, and we have an impulse and we have a correction here. So there's a chance that if this breaks, it's going to come to this level and go back up. Go to the 1 hour. We're trying to get it from the top here. Trying to get this from the top if it breaks. If this structure breaks, if this breaks without going back to the top there and break through here, we'll take this out. If it comes back to the top here, we'll ignore it because it's going to come here and continue to go up. If make a flag and then we'll look for a sell. It becomes, even if we get this sell and it's a break-even trade, they go back up, we'll take the break-even and we'll keep looking for the sell until it breaks the bigger, until it comes back to the top of this move, and then that changes everything. If this continues to work its way up to the top here, then that changes everything because you're only going to do this and then go back up. And this might be a trade, but not such a great trade like the one we're looking for right now if it breaks today to the downside. See, that's something we look at in our trading room because one of our traders is keeping an eye on that for us. Euro. We bought Euro, and I can tell you where we bought Euro on Friday. We bought Euro here, right to the bottom here. And then we closed it to the top here, because the probability was it could have come back down here. So we closed it and we got an entry order there. So we bought that one afterwards. Some traders might have closed it here and rebought it there, or they might have closed it and they're not available to buy it again. That's no problem. It's here. It has to break out now, make a flag, and then we'll buy again. Or from this point, it has to drop, make a flag, and we'll sell. So at that point, I'm not buying and selling anything until I have confirmation that we're breaking out of the structure, which I think it's doing. That's just my thought process because of the sharpness of this. Or if they reverse, which I don't think they're doing, but it could happen. So let's see. If we break this, we're coming to break this top. We spoke about that there's high probability of this happening, coming to break that top. That would be an amazing trade. If we don't and we decide to drop from here, it's not confirming anything. All it means is we're going down one more to this level. And we can still go up there, or we will continue to go down. Which one and how we're going to know which one? Well, we will look at the patterns to tell us which one, and we look for setups, sell setups, and buy setups, depending on which one of those happen. That's the amazing thing. You have an idea where it can go and what it can do. And now you said you could prove one of those to me. And if you've proven one of those, then how do we take advantage of that? It's simple. It's very simple. The idea is simple. What is difficult is identifying that. And that's what we do very easily in our group. Bang, upside. If you were in our group, you would know we said that is likely going to go up. If you followed me, you would know we were looking for that upside. There was a buy setup here. There was a buy setup here. And then when it breaks this top, you'd be careful. Because when it breaks that top, that is where the problem comes. Is it coming back here, or is it going to continue to go up, right? Well, now they broke the top, and it looks like they're coming down back. It looks like this is going to come back. I don't think this one is going to take off. It could, but I don't think so. And there's a reason for that. So I think if you're in that trade, you need to move it to positive and hold it. And there's a chance they will come here, go back up there. And if they do that, we're going to be looking for sells. But if this goes more, if this consolidates here and go more, we'll buy. If it takes off and then consolidate, we'll buy. The big picture of this, well, I think we just do what's today's trade. And the big picture, I'll probably see if I can post update for you. The big picture is far from known, because we've just got one move down and we're kind of oscillating up there. So if this becomes a correction, big picture will be downside. But there you get a number of trades before that big picture plays out. So with the short term, if it consolidates, we buy. If it drops, don't sell it as yet, because this drop is going to go back up and then the sell comes. You'll be looking at a flat in the middle there. And then it's going to go back up, and then we have a good structure for sell. Aussie, we expected that. So if you were following me, I said this should go back up, and then when it gets to this level, we'll decide. We're coming back down, or we're going to continue to go up. So now it's at the point where that decision has got to be made, right? It's either going to drop, make flag, and we sell, or it's going to consolidate here, and then we buy. One of those two. Right? It's starting to look like it's consolidating for a buy setup. Buy could be short term because we're still within this range. We're still within this piece here. So I'm not sure this is all the correction and we're leaving. It could come back at the top here and then drop back here. And now you get a bigger correction before you go. So if you're going to buy it, you will just move your stop and wait to see whether it breaks out. If it starts to come back up, you take a break even, you take a smaller trade, and then wait to see what happens, right? Take break even and then wait for a sell setup. New Zealand, this was an absolute buy. There was no chance of selling New Zealand at any one time. I even warned you not to sell New Zealand, even though they could go down. Look for buy setups, because this came back to the top, and that means we're making a flat for upside. So there were a buy here in the New Zealand. I will not go into that trade. That's a specific trade we did. We bought here. Some of our traders kept it, some closed it, and we bought back here. So some people are in that trade, some are out of the trade. And it looks like it's consolidating here. If this consolidates, that's a buy. Right? If it drops, it has to make a flag before we sell. Can it drop and we get a sell? Yes. Right now, when they're in this type of consolidations, now that it's broken out, anything is possible. What's the big picture in this? Big picture is we have one move down and we're making another move up. And it's not quite clear that this move up is going to break out. It could still come here and then come back down here, and then we break out. So we'll have a 1, 2, 3, and then go. Let's see which one they give us. Right? I think this is making a bigger daily correction. We looked at it in the trading this morning, not something we're going to do in this webinar, but something we looked at. And these are smaller corrections in relationship to this one. So this is literally making a bigger correction here before we go. So we might not be moving out of that range for a while. Up and down. 4 hours, 1 hour. CAD was an interesting one for us. So you had a roller coaster buy here, came back to the top, closed the trade because the news was coming out. Then they make a new high, and then the news dropped. Right? So we didn't get the sell because some of my traders got a punk CAD sell, not this one. And then we decided, well, what is it now? We have this, you have this option. as a 1, 2, 3 and go back up. That's one option. The second option you had, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and we're going down. Right now, the downside looks much, much more better because you're getting a big consolidation going on here. So you have one consolidation here, and then they were supposed to drop, but instead you get another running flat here. So that means we're coming back here, but not in a straight line. We're going to come make consolidation, then go, and then after that, we're looking for the downside. This would become a bigger consolidation. So if we get buy setups here, we're looking for that since this morning for the buy setup. And I think for my traders, you could be making your plans for a buy setup here, and we'll manage that trade. If that becomes more like this, we'll take it off and we'll look for a sell, but I think we'll go up and then come back here and then continue to go. So I'm expecting a bigger corrective structure in this entire range and then the downside. Swiss, same thing, a bigger corrective structure. You can see this, you can see this, and you can see. By the way, Swiss, we got some really nice trades selling these stops coming down, because I thought this was going to be all the consolidation and we're going to drop, and we even sold that and sold this, but then we took them off because it started to consolidate more. There was a sell here, which we took off, and then I got a sell somewhere from, I think, the break of this, and that one I closed also on Friday here, right? So there are the number of small sells we got. Right now, it's looking like we have a one move up, a second move here, and we're looking for a third move here before we go. Of course, it's going to be with a big consolidation. So if this goes up, you'll get this, you'll get a consolidation, go there and then drop. Can it actually drop from where it is right now? It's possible, but it's rare. It's possible, but I think most likely we'll go back up because I'm looking at a bigger consolidation. So you're getting a short sell setup here. All right, that's a short one like this one. This could drop here and then correct, drop. They could do this for a while until this is finished, and then we go back up. Can we totally drop? Yeah, maybe there's a big move to the downside. We were expecting this to go down totally, right? We wanted it, remember, we were selling this from the top coming, and we think it's going to go break this low. So if I see not the small one that I'm showing you, but a bigger correction, I will start to go back big selling. This small one, if you take it, and you can take it as a valid trade in a 15 minutes, you can take it, but I don't think it's going to go very far. So if you take this, you'd have to be very careful in that it might just do this and start to go up. So not a good trade. I'll rather wait for this. If this is going to drop, let it drop and make a bigger correction. Now I will start to sell it. Not the smaller ones, the bigger one, then I'll start to sell. Or reverse, drop, make a low, reverse, and then I'll look for a buy setup. See? Yen. Yen is amazing. We actually got every part of this pattern, step by step in the trading. Perfect. I mean every part of it. This one, that one, this one, and this one, and we're in the sell from there. I'm in the sell from there. Some of my traders took it. I don't know if all of them took it. From the top here, because we had a flag at the top there, a 50 minutes flag somewhere here. And it's going good. It's actually going to go and break the low. What happens when we break the low is interesting, right? So we're coming to break this low, that's for sure. And then, because we have divergence, anything is possible, which means you can start to make a bigger correction before you go down, or you can totally reverse. But something is coming once you break that low, because we have a lot of divergence. Selling is that momentum is dying out. So how far do they go before that correction starts? Well, not very far. That's anybody's guess, right? But you can just stay with it and move your stop, which is what you should do, right? Can you get a trade there now? Well, not until you get a correction. If this thing corrects here more like this, well, then yes, you can go with this trade to break the low. It could go a little farther than breaking the low to the 270 or to a bigger flip target there and then turn. It's not going to just break the low and turn. Sometimes that happens, but it's rare. But even if it breaks the low and turn, you still get a good trade. Right? Canadian. Stay away from this. Swiss yen. You have a buy setup, short-term buy setup to the top, to this top, and if you're lucky, they break out. I think that's a good one. We're expecting this to go up. So you've got a trade here to the top here, and then if it breaks out, that's a trade. If it doesn't break out, it come back down, you take break even, and we repeat the process of buying. New Zealand yen, same thing. You can see it's consolidating here. It's kind of making that. You get 1, 2, 3. This is a flat. This looks downside. See, at least one more downside, and then they can still go back up. But the first one looks downside. So let's see in the 15. Yeah, if you bought that, you got to be careful. And if you're going to buy this, you got to be careful. There might be a buy here. Be careful because they're just pushing up a little, and then you could get a drop. I could literally see this dropping. One more, at least one more. So about this level, break this low. If that becomes a running flat, or if they go back up and make a running flat like this, then you'll still get one more, and then it's possible up. So you're consolidating, you have to be careful. The consolidation could go both ways. Aussie Yen, we're looking for a sell setup here. And that's because on the daily, we have something that might be a running flat. You've got this flat here, 1, 2, 3, and you're getting something that might be a running flat here. So if they start to drop, this would be a big trade, at least something like this down. So let's see. Aussie CAD, upside. We have a very good structure here. So this is an upside trade. You already have a flag, so the trade is even valid right now. You can put an entry above the top for it because you already have a flag here, right? You're not expecting them to make another one. You're expecting them to go. So that's a trade that could go. Aussie Swiss. Instead of this, we wanted to break out, but what you have here is a flat. See this? That comes there, it's going to come back down, it's going to go there, it's going to come back down. You're in a consolidation that will continue for a while. I don't think they're going to break out now. But you're looking for an upside when it does break out, right? And that'll break out, you're looking for it to come back up to about this level, and then we'll see what happens when they get there. We'll look at this and decide what the structure is, where it's ending, if it's making more complex and all of that. So for now, look for a buy setup. Clearly, you're getting a valid stop, but I don't think this one is going to go because you have a flat forming here. So this might come back down here because the flat within the structure. This is not ready to go. It's short-term downside, and we might have a few more waves in there before we leave it. Aussie, New Zealand, you're going up, but I don't know if you want to buy this. I've shown you this many times. It doesn't go. It's take years and years to move, which means it just keeps, if you look at the clusters, it could stay at one place for forever. Look at this, see? And when it moves, you just make one move and stop, sometimes pull back, way back into that move. Most times it's pulled way back in. You're in New Zealand. So we're in this structure here right now. And we got that sell last week. I don't know if you guys got it. So we're looking at it and we're thinking, well, what is this? It's supposed to break the low and go back. We didn't break the low. We consolidated. We still didn't break the low here. Some of us bought this. We closed it because we were expecting it. We bought this and because we're expecting it to come here. And it could either break out or it could come back here. So we're looking for buy setups only, not so much a sell. We closed it on Friday because if this started to happen, we actually got back in the trade here and closed it again. And I'm still waiting to see what this does. If this makes a correction here, one second, let me just, if we make a correction here, then yes, we might get a sell setup back to the low and then up. If not, this thing turns and go back up like this. Any buy, anywhere you get a flag or a buy above the top is a good one, right? The bigger picture is to the upside, and there's a reason for that on the daily chart, which we're not going to go into right now. That will take too long to explain. EuroCAD, we're looking for a buy setup. I think this is a running flat. Looks very clear like a running flat because this broke and then they didn't go anywhere. So I think this could go up. We're looking for a buy setup here. Euro Swiss. We're in a sideways move here. It's a big sideways move. So right now, this looks like it's going to come back here, go back up, and we'll get a flat here. After which you probably will do this. So you're going to get one move down, correction, one move down, correction, one move down. And when you're completing this, look for upside. See? This is what I think it's going to do. Let's see what it does, actually. Euro Yen. Okay, we might be going up. Not sure. We're still not sure about that because the pattern we were looking for last week didn't play out the way we expected to play out. We thought this would go. And then we said, okay, if we have this, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then it should go, and it's not going. So I think we're looking at a more complex one with just this piece here. Up move, reversal. This could be a flat, which means we could come back here. So if we get a sell setup, we can go with it. To get a buy setup, it has to break this top and confirm a flag before I decide to buy it because of the change in the structure. Euros. Well, we're in this sideways going, and I think we'll make a running flat. See, we have this, so I think we're looking for a running flat. We got a flat in here. They kind of make, if we get a flag here, that small one, that would be a buy. That would be a sell, sorry. And then we'll look for the buy. Because this would be a running flat, which means this will go up. It's just a matter of finishing off that impulse down, and then we're going to go up. And if we go up, where we're going to? Well, if we go up, we'll be going up to somewhere here, break that top, and then we're heading downside, right? Because we have to get this one. So this one played out the way we expect it to play out. Tough to trade, but it's working the way you expect. So we'll see if we get any good trades here. We'll get something back down like that. And I hope it doesn't look like this, because that would be difficult. But wait for this, you might get a sell, and then you might get a buy. Europound, we're expecting Europound to go back down. It started to go nicely, but then it stopped. So we're looking for this flat, and there's a high probability that it could still do that. But once you break that up, now that is negated. So what we did is we go back and we look at it and said, okay, let's go back with the contracting flat, something we didn't want to like. We didn't want to take as an end, because we broke this top. And when you break the top, the chances are, I'm not looking at that as a 1 to 3. I'm looking at that as possible coming back here and then going for running flat. Right? That's a possibility I'm looking for, right? This making a 1, 2, 3, and then taking out. But here's the deal. If we get a sell set up here, and we take the trade and it comes here, and instead of stopping here, they go break the low, good for us. We'll stay with it. But if they turn from this point, we'll exit the trade and we'll look for a buy, because we are aware that that could be a flat. Rather than coming down, it could be a flat and go, because I'm not looking at this as a three-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, which is possible in relationship to this. And we could still be making a expanding flat, right? But I'm not looking at it that way. I don't think that was the thing. So I'll trade it as if it's making a flat at the top here. If I get a sell setup, I'll take it. Buying this one to the upside, you can still buy. There isn't any buy setup right now, but if we get a good one, we could consider it. Pancad. Okay, this one looks more downside than upside right now. And it's consolidating, so we're expecting it to come back to about this level. You've been tracking this pattern together with us for a while. And we drew all the moves that we have on it, and the ones we were expecting, you can see them. Right? All of you would remember that one up. You'd remember this one down. So we got this as the main flat in the middle. And then 1, 2, 3. Then these two blue needs to complete themselves. One drop there. Go back up as the green. Come down back as the yellow. And then from there, we'll see. It's either upside or it's continuous downside from that point. So we're looking for a drop here, and I think we might get that today. It didn't drop on Friday. We're just making a bigger correction. Take this off. You got that. It didn't go. So the whole thing is becoming a bigger correction. That means if this go here and drop here, you're going to get a B part of that structure. So you will have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You probably need 1, 2, 3 up, and you get this pattern for downside. Well, let's see. That's what I think it's going to do, but let's see what it does, right? By the way, silver is coming down if you're looking for the sell in silver. And oil came down some more, which is good. And silver is coming down nicely. I managed to close the dollar yen in time because it's going up. I hope my traders took the CAD trade. When I showed you so that you can see that that was a good buy on the CAD. I didn't get to take it. I'm here, so I missed that one, but I hope you guys took it, right? So if you put your entry orders in the silver, if you're not in with us this morning, put the entry order in the silver. We have it in the gold, but the silver is a better option than the gold. I explained why this morning, so let's go. Pause. Okay, what's the big picture here? It's kind of consolidating. I don't know if they're going to break the low. We're not looking for a sell right now. I'm looking for the buy to go back to the top because this pattern looks good. So I'm looking for one more impulse. Let me just draw the piece that I'm looking for. That is this piece here. Come back to that level, break the top, and then come down. Let's see if we get that. If we get that trade, we take it. If we don't get that trade, we wouldn't be selling this as yet. I don't see the sell setup in it as yet. Pound New Zealand. Sorry. We're looking for a buy in this one. This one would definitely give you a buy, even if it's 1, 2, 3, and then downside, or continue to go up. So two options can happen here, and I showed you this already in the daily last week. We took some very nice trades in this already from this piece going up. But then that pull back, and we're really looking for this to come to the top here and then come down. Or this just make a flat here. If you go to the yellow, just make a 1, 2, 3 flat and then drop. So let's see which one it does, because this pattern by itself is completed. You don't need more, but if you can get more waves in it, but you don't need more waves in it. This could drop anytime. So if this one gives you 1, 2, 3, and then drop, good for us. We're looking for that trade up, and then we look for the sell. If it comes all the way to the top and then drop, good for us. Even better for us that way. Can it do that? Let's see. In the 1 hour, you have an impulse and you're getting correction. Good. Let's wait for a buy setup. We don't have a buy setup. I have an entry order here, but we don't have a buy setup here. If it takes off like that, I'm in the trade. But if they give me a buy setup here, I'll take the trade earlier than the entry order. All right. Pang Yen. Okay, now Pang Yen, we looked at it this morning, and there is a possibility that you get a flat here and you come back to the top here and then fall. This could become a big flat. Look for the buy setup. Pang Swiss. It looks upside, but it's not going up, right? Everything is telling us this thing should go up, and it should have gone up a long time ago, but it's not going up as yet. Now, even this piece looks like you've got a 1, you've got a 2, and you should get a 3, but it's not doing that, so be careful. I don't see a buy setup here, and I'm not trading this to the downside as yet. I don't have a convincing risk to reward to sell it to the downside from here. New Zealand, Swiss. Okay, you might get one more drop here. It looks like they're trying to give you one more drop to this level, and then we can go up. Well, let's see. If you don't get the sell, at least we can get the buy. Can they actually go from this point and make a contracting flat? Which means look at this as a contracting flat here. And this one actually go up. Well, if we get the buy setup, we can consider it. It's actually making a flag there, so you might want to, consider it for the buy rather than the sell. New Zealand CAD. Sell setup, this is easy. This is pretty easy. You can see this crawling up there. Look for the sell. Where this should take us, the big picture, where that should go. Well, not far, just a flat. Big picture could probably just bring it here and then go back up, right? Can we actually crawl up from here to the upside like this and consider this an expanding flat or a running flat? Sorry, I don't think so. That move up is very sharp, so it doesn't fit it doesn't fit that criteria for running flat, so we'll have to be careful. This looks more downside than upside. I'll go with the downside. Short term maybe up, but the bigger picture is down. CAD Swiss. Nothing here. Let's go. This one we're looking for a sell. We took a sell last week. We got some nice in it, but it didn't go far enough. We took some profit off, closed the trade, and we broke the top. Now, if you wanted to buy it, that was a choice, but that's something I would not do because I know that at any point we have to get that impulse down. And at any point it could make it. If we get a sell set up here today, after breaking the top, we'll trade for a running flat and then we'll take the trade up back. So this would be a running flat. Right, so let's see. Let's go back to the 1 hour and see what we have. Nothing. No trade setup. So we'll wait. Let's go. UK oil already broke. My traders, I don't know if you guys took the trade. There was a trade setup this morning. Spoke about it. Watch it when it breaks this low. If it breaks out of the structure and they broke out of the structure, that is good. Because if they break the structure, we have 1, 2, 3. This one was at the top, so I thought it would probably go back up. We spoke of the possibility of this coming here and then going back up. Put the trade to break even. Look for it to come to this level. Any other flag we can sell. Same with the US oil. We're breaking out. See? If you're breaking out, that's a sell setup. So the sell was on the 15 this morning if you wanted it. And that would be from this one, right? To break this low. And when it breaks that low, you put it to break even, right? Now it's breaking out. It could still go back up. That doesn't mean anything. If it continues to go, that's good for us. We look for a sell setup now, which means we look for another flag for our trade to the downside. And that means we could come back all the way to this level on the bigger corrective structure, right? Let me just pull a line on the bigger corrective structure. I don't know where that line gone. That is it. We come back all the way to this low, and we're in a big flat. Right? It's pretty simple. We're in a big flat. See this? You've got to move down. You've got 1, 2, 3. This could come back here, go back up there, and then drop. Or it could totally drop. So let's see which one. It's going good so far. If you're in the trade, or if you're not in the trade, wait for another flag. Let them confirm, because from this stage, you don't jump in, right? This could go back up, make a new high, and then come down, because this one went all the way to the top. When you go so high to the top, they can still go back up. So if you're going to sell this, you want it to break this low and then make a flag and then sell. Let's see, natural gas. Nothing on this as yet. Looks more downside. It's consolidating for upside, but I'll be careful because we're in this structure here, and I think they can come back here. Maybe go back up, give us a flat, and then drop. US 30. It's kind of going sideways, but as you can see, I think we're going to go one more down. Chances are you might get, this is a 1, 2, 3. You might get one more down and then the upside. So if you get a sell set up here, that would be a good idea. If they consolidate, we'll consider this a contracting flat and a buy. If this thing consolidates here for upside, we'll consider this a contracting flat and we'll go for the buy. As of now, I think it's not a contracting flat. It's a flat in the middle for downside. And same here, you're getting a sell setup actually. This one doesn't need, this one could go. This one literally, you can consider this consolidation finish and go up. So if this consolidate here, this would be a buy. But if you get a sell setup, they can drop one more. We'll still be in consolidation and we'll still go back up. So see if you get the sell. It looks like you're getting a sell setup on it right now. Quite interesting. Okay, let's see. This one is a contracting flat, or we'll come down one more. I'm more inclined to believe we're going to come one more and then go. So we'll have a regular flat or a running flat for that matter of fact. So I think this piece is in the middle is more of a 1, 2, 3. Look for a sell setup here today, and then the upside. You're going to have 1, 2, 3, and then the upside. See? So a short-term sell and then the buy. Next, buy setup, at least for this piece. I think we're still consolidating here, and then we make one buy and then we drop. If this becomes a big flat, that would be downside. But right now it's upside. AU200, you have more upside. You have a nice trade forming here. This is a nice trade forming here, and that target is breaking that top, so there's a good trade coming there. Okay. Nifty, consolidating downwards. If you take short-term trades, you have to get in and get out quick. Long-term trades, I think you wait until you get a flag, solid flag somewhere above the trend line before you buy. If you're buying from the lows, that's okay. If you've got the ability to do that, that's not a bad idea. That's a really good idea. Tesla might be ready for the downside. It might not go up more. This looks like it's going to try to drop. If they drop, take the trade. If it goes up higher, wait for it to pull back and then buy. It's still a consolidation, right? We'll still get the down move. The question is how much consolidation you get in there before you get a down move. Amazon, same here. Are we going to break the top? This is starting to look like a consolidation to go break that top and then come. I hope they break the top because that will give us the perfect pattern, right? Let's see if they go break the top. If not, put a sell entry. Put an entry order, sorry. Put an entry order to sell it here. Because if this is consolidation, they're going to drop. SLR, wait for a consolidation here. You're getting a consolidation in here and look for a sell setup. Reliance, near BA Finance. Just wait on this. It's kind of consolidating here, but we might be going back up like that, right? So probably see if you get a flag here for a buy. Reliance. More sells. It has to go more. We have to break that low, so more sells coming. And PayPal. So PayPal, same thing. We're in a consolidation. So the question is, if they break this, you want that trade down. If they break this, is one little more trade up. Because the upside is limited. The upside is a continuation of the consolidation, right? This is your consolidation. Let me see if I can do that again. This is your impulse in the consolidation. One second, guys. I lost it. Yep, got it back. This is your impulse. Man, what's wrong with this thing? This is your impulse in the consolidation. You got this, you get this, you can get this for a while and then drop, or any one of this if you get a sell setup can drop. So all of this, if they go back up, is short term. The long trade is to the downside. Bitcoin, let's go very fast now. Talking about the magic of patterns. Somebody said to me once, I don't know why you're looking for patterns in Bitcoin. They don't exist, or they don't behave the way stock Forex. And I think that was on YouTube. Somebody sent me a YouTube message. Some crypto guy who's a super crypto genius. I have no idea. I said, I don't know. We'll wait and see if they give us. But remember what I was telling you when this happened? When I see this, I see 1, 2, 3. I'm always expecting this. Guess what? You can make your own decisions whether it works. So what you're looking for now is a buy setup here. If you get a buy setup here, go for that one. You're going to get one more up. Because you have a 1, 2, 3. You should go up. See? So you might be getting buy setup on it. XRP, look for buy setup. We might have consolidated enough already. It's not exactly the one I was looking for to the downside, but we got one. So, go with this if it buys. If this becomes a flat, just do this and drop one more. You'll have to take break even and sell it because I don't know how far that consolidation is going to go. I was looking for more one like this. One like this here with this flat in the middle. Here. And I was looking for it from this point, not way from the top. But anyway, we got it. So it doesn't matter how you get it, where you get it. If this makes a running flat, you're going up. See? So now you have to wait for the buy setup here and take the trade and go with it. Go back to the 1 hour. It's not a perfect buy setup, but there is a buy setup forming there. That could be a flat still because of the depth to which this comes. When you take trades like that, you try to get them to break even. Right? And then see if they still go. Dot. This also give us, I think, a sharp move down. I don't think we need a sharp move like this down. Unless we're looking at a more complex pattern in here. Could be. That could be a more complex running structure. Like 1, 1, 2, 3. Come back here, and now you're going up. So that's a good one. Look for buy setups. See? And this is actually a big correction. So if this thing goes, you're going to probably get an impulse that is equivalent to this going up. So if you get 1 hour buy setups here, it's worth taking. Linked USD. This is not, I don't think this one is completed. This could drop more. This is definitely making a flat here. This one is definitely making a flat here, so they'll drop more. You'll get a sharp one up there. That is to match this. And you're probably going to come down. So we're making, this one is not the one we're looking for, the sharp one. Let's look at that. That is not the sharp one. Take that out. That is a flat in the middle there, right? It started like the sharp one, but I don't think that is it. I don't think this is going back up. And there's a reason for that. I'll be very careful if I get buy setups there. We might get this later on, which means I could see this coming back here. Possibility for a drop again there, and then one more up, and then the big one comes like this. So this would be more of a correction within the structure. The way I see the pattern right now with what we have here is that's what I'm thinking it's going to do. Because the depth of this is too big. This one is making a flat already for one more downside. And if you make one more downside, then the chances are you could come back here to make a flat like this. And then you'll have to go down there to make a flat like that. And then you'll go up. And when you go up, you'll have to drop somewhere in the future. If you don't think it's going to drop, go back and look at Bitcoin. Even on Bitcoin, the patterns work. So likely you're going to get a drop. ETH. Okay. This one also gave us the sharp wave we were looking for. Right? So we had that one. We got a sharp wave. We broke the top already. So this one just completed the pattern and already went up. So this looks like a sell setup forming here now. Right? That looks like you're trying to come down bigger because you already broke the top and now you pull back. I don't think we're making another consolidation here. We don't need another consolidation here. So here's what you're going to look at this. If this breaks the top, if this here goes break the top, pull back, buy. If it doesn't break the top and drop, go for the sell. Dash. Also looks like a flat for one more down. See this? Looks like it can drop one more. There's a buy setup right now. It's going up, but the depth at which this come back, I'll be careful if I'm buying that. Although this looks very much like the sharp one we were looking for. See? Looks like we can make an argument for that, but that doesn't mean that this cannot go one more down like that and then go up. Right? So I would probably wait for this thing to go up, make a flag before I can buy it. TRX. We weren't looking for any pullback on this, but you got a deep pullback and it's a buy setup. You got a buy setup here. This didn't pull back that deep, so this could be a buy. I don't think this is a big expanding flat. It's possible. So the buy is a good one. LTC. We're looking for this and we got it. It came back. You can put it like that and you can look for the buy setup here. See? You'll have to be careful that it doesn't become a flat again. All of them looks like they're making a flat. So if they make a flat, some of them are deep enough to make a flat. Some of them are not deep enough, which means you can drop one more. ADA. This one is not deep enough for a flat. You see this one, the pullback is just here. The flat normally come back to this level. So this could be a flag for upside. And this one could go to the top. So you can go with 1, 2, 3 and upside. Were we expecting that? Not really. I didn't think they were supposed to go so deep. I thought this one would be it. So if this comes back here, we have another move down and then upside. So you can try to get that trade and then see if you get this one down. That one down would be this and then the upside. See? That's it. That's how it works. So, okay, guys, I would see all of you. You guys trade with care. Have a great week ahead of you. And if you like the video, again, share it with a friend. At least you will help him. So thank you very much.